Matthew, what are we here for today?
Shazam! Nothing happened.
Yeah, I can see that. You excited?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I was gonna do some now.
Alright. Alright, let's get this done. Right? Wait, the shower just come off? Go like here.
Oh, can we take a picture?
Oh, a little bit of both. It's like the thumbnail. You're a nerd.
Together we laugh, we cry, feel wonder.
It is just a few minutes till the movie. I'm super excited to see what DC is planning on doing. Are you ready? The first movie in the DC chronological universe. The DCEU.
Let's see what James Gunn does.
What will happen? What will happen? And Shazam 2. What will happen? No more of that. Anyway, so we're here for Shazam. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I do it all the time. If I do it every time it says Shazam.
We're in a movie theater. You have to be quiet.
No, not yet.
Privileges just came back. We can't like ruin this movie theater experience.
I mean, we did talk about it in Scream 6. If you guys haven't seen Scream 6 review, go check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. We're gonna be reviewing Shazam right after it's over. Make sure to keep in tune so you can see that.
Shazam!
I don't encourage this. The movie's over. If you can't see this, it's because the music is copyrighted. What are your thoughts on the movie?
Shazam! Hello everyone and welcome to Shazam Fury of the Gods review.
As you've seen, we just finished the movie. We just came out of the theater. We're back here, set the camera. It's now time for us to talk about it. Make sure, before though we do any of this, you go and watch our Shazam Fury of the Gods trailer reaction. Also, we watched Scream 6. We watched Ant-Man. I forgot that was the other movie because it sucked. So go watch
And spoiler alert, it sucked. It was terrible. Don't go into it.
Personally.
But definitely go see Shazam Fury of the Gods. I'm not saying it was a great movie. It was going to be our first little impressions.
This is just our opinion. This is just our opinion.
Yeah, just our opinion. Don't take it to heart. You know, don't ever take it.
Make sure you guys go see it though. Comment what you think. Share, like, express your opinions. Also, in the description, there's a link. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, etc. We have a lot of platforms, and we're just here expressing our opinions, sharing our opinions on these platforms, and you guys can do the same thing. And please do, because maybe one day we'll make a video reacting to comments.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But you know what they also should do is they should like, should comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so they don't find out future videos. We're gonna be having a bunch coming. We're gonna have some WWE 2K23 coming. We're gonna have some reviews, some reactions, everything in between. So you guys gotta stick right here on more MADViews and go to our other channel, MADViews Productions, which you guys can see also down below. Everything's down there. It's a nice cozy little place.
It's like a dark little cavern down there, which we'll get into with this Shazam movie. But again, this is the second channel. We have our main channel, MADViews Productions. We uploaded a superhero series, and this is a superhero movie.
And it's actually a comedy. It's kind of like this, you know? Shazam, it's comedy. Go check it out.
Well, it's a good comedy too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about our series.
Oh,
Shazam was a pretty good comedy. You know, I think we should just get right into it.
So that's the thing. Shazam Fury of the Gods, guys. This is our first impressions and things like this. So we usually do first impressions, likes, dislikes, then we hop into our ratings. So, first impression, it was okay. It wasn't the best movie. It wasn't the worst movie. You know, comedy, it's good. It was a lot like the first one. I would say very similar to the first one. Where you really could feel that they were trying to make fun of most things. But I think that's how Shazam and Billy Batson is anyway in comics, and then in this as well. It makes sense, right? My only thing is the plot at times and the acts. And I know you guys are probably hearing this now in our third review here on the channel. We always have issues with the plot. And sometimes with writing. Why?
Absolutely.
Because we've written stuff before and we
MADViews
know
Productions, check it
that
out.
sometimes it can be very odd when things just happen and we get no explanation why. And I think my main issue with this was the writing just seemed like it had to be everywhere because I think there was too many characters. I love the characters. All the characters are great.
There's
We
a lot
didn't need
going
all
on.
of them.
Yeah, just like Ant-Man and Quantum Realm. What was that movie?
Quantum Mania.
Whatever. There's just a lot going on in that movie, and there was a lot going on in this movie. Honestly, though, overall, the first Shazam, I enjoyed it. It came out, I believe, around the same time Deadpool 2 came out, and it kept up with that comedic standpoint. A superhero film that's funny. It's kind of a little too direct, a little too straightforward with this comedy, but it works out. This one, it continued with the comedy. In the DCEU, for the extended cinematic universe they're doing, I think it worked out. It's a good
And it's
film.
the first one. It's the first
It's
one
one,
to do it.
it's
So.
one of the first ones with the Flash, so I'll actually be a part of that. I'm curious if Black Adam is going to be in this universe. I would most definitely hope
I would hope so, yeah.
I really enjoyed Black Adam too, but maybe that'll just be another video because that didn't come out around the time we started this channel,
Exactly.
unfortunately. So maybe we'll do a review to that when.
And I would love to see that culminate into because those two are villain and hero, right? Shazam and Black Adam. So I'd love to see that culminate, excuse me, with of course Black Adam, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and of course Zachary Levi. And that's the thing, Zachary Levi and the cast was incredible. I love the acting. The acting in this was phenomenal, right?
Yes, I must
The
agree.
only thing that I had the issue with was writing, and the acts just seemed like it was good, and then it kind of went.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Zachary Levi is a very strong leading man in this film. He was so funny. Every time he was on screen, I was just excited to see him. He was so enjoyable that like near the end, and spoilers, of course, if you already
Oh, and if you guys don't know, yeah, spoiler.
this is why I would suggest you see the movie.
But
before.
yeah, you guys, why would you come to a review if you don't expect spoilers? That's why we don't put it in the title. We thought you guys would already know. But anyway, yes, spoilers. And you were saying that.
But that was it. With Shazam, by the end of the movie, he ended up dying, and I was like, no more Zachary Levi. But then he was luckily revived, which we'll get into about a little.
I have an
into
issue
the
with
bad
that too, but we'll be back to that.
We'll wait until the bad section. But for the goods, it's like I really enjoyed all the actors, all six, well, minus Shazam himself, but the other five Shazams. I wasn't a big fan of adding them in Shazam 1. I thought that was too pushy, and I think that kind of drives this one into paying attention to too many
Yeah,
characters.
the family, right?
This movie, I think if it was called Shazam 3 and there was a Shazam 2, I think this would have been fine if they were able to flesh out more. But there was just weird character stuff that could have been done. But overall, the characters are really good. It was really fun watching all the adults play kids and it's just a lot
I think
of fun.
that's just a funny concept overall, right?
That's true.
And that's why the comedy hit perfectly in this. These settings and the CGI and all these things that were added into the film, incredible, great.
The CGI,
Phenomenal.
the visual effects. I'm pretty sure there was practicals. Beautiful. I think these Marvel
DC's,
yeah, like
they need
superhero
to.
movies,
They need to.
have that shit. Like
Right?
they must have like a little box that they open, and then a guy comes out, and he's just a visual effects guy, and he just does it all. I mean, that's definitely not it, but they're just so
And also,
crisp and so
the
good.
camera work in some of those too was just phenomenal, right? Where you had like the smooth
Anytime,
maneuvers at the opening.
Athena too used her.
Opening was insane.
Oh, the opening! Everyone turns into fucking. That was really cool. As you mentioned, that sand opening where the Lucy Liu's character and what was the other girl's name?
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren on the screen if not, so you can see it. Those two, just that opening scene, the camera work in this movie was just so phenomenal and so much fun. There's really good moments in this movie where you're just kind of like, wow, they just casually did that when Tina, I don't remember her name, the Anne girl with the
Thea.
the one with
Thea.
she would just shapeshift everything around her, and it was just so cool to just like look and stare at.
Right.
It's just like, holy shit, that is
And
like
Lucy
really
Liu
good.
too. I very much liked her villainous aspect
Top
of this.
tier. I knew she'd be a fire.
Again,
villain.
the acting phenomenal, guys. A lot
Such a
of good points in this. A lot of good character moments, both hero and villain. And the villains were really good and thrashed out. I don't know if it was just the acting or if it was how it was written, but mainly all. I'm not saying every single villain was great, but most of the villains were very, very well put together, and overall a good experience. Not a great, and this is why it's not great. So we'll hop into the bads now, but overall, I do suggest going to see this. It's a good one-time watch, and come
If
back
you're
to it.
going into this movie, think about where the DCEU, I hate this, the DC Cinematic Universe, whatever the fuck it's called, Shazam is one of those films, Shazam 2 at least, is one of those films that are up there and better than the previous ones that came before it. It's not the best,
And
but it's
Shazam
a
1 was
lot
too.
better.
That's the thing. Shazam 1
It was
was
a
one of
lot
my favorite,
better
if
from
not
what they're
the
doing.
favorite DCEU thing I watched during that time. Again, we've talked about DC before, and I don't want to keep shedding on this light, but it's a good way to hop into this next thing, the bats. So one of the things that I really hate that DC does, and you guys would know this if you guys check out our Flash review or reaction, rather,
The Super Bowl trailer.
the Super Bowl trailer,
In the
which you can
link
see
description.
down below or on the icon.
Oh yeah, there's a little corner thing.
If you guys heard this, then you know exactly what I'm about to say. They spoil way too much in trailers. And we knew that Wonder Woman was going to be a part of this film. Did I need her to be a part of the film? No. But it seemed that they always need to have a thread line back to something else.
It's just to be like, hey.
Which, I get, Marvel does it too, right? Marvel does it too. However,
DC just kind of overdoes it.
they overdo it.
They showed Doomsday in the Batman versus Super. Like, that did not need to be there. If I walked into that movie seeing Batman versus Superman on the title, and then the trailer just shows Doomsday, I'm like, this is not Batman versus Superman. This is Batman and Superman lead up to fighting Doomsday. It's completely.
I mean, it's also a different comic, right? Superman Doomsday. It's literally a thing, right?
Two different things, and they did it with the Flash trailer too, showing the Kara, showing Batman.
We knew George Clooney, for example, in that. We thought he was going to be a part of it.
It's not George Clooney.
Not George Clooney.
The other one.
The other one. Anyway.
I know his name.
Anyway, well, it doesn't matter. Regardless, we knew that Batman was
Michael Keaton.
Thank you, Michael Keaton. George Clooney.
He was a Batman.
He was.
He gonna be in that?
He was a Batman. I don't know. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Watch out for the Flash.
but if it was DC, they would have spoiled it. So no. But that's the thing. Michael Keaton in that, right? We knew he might have been a part of it, but I'd much rather not know and just go into the movie.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that happened with Diana in this.
That was it.
Why did we need to have her in this? What, to do the Shazam thing that the Wizard already kind of did before to fix the staff?
Okay,
So
yeah.
I don't understand it. Guys, please help me. Help me understand it. It doesn't make sense.
The staff was just so silly to a degree, because, okay, I totally understand that you can't use it unless you're a god, but then
it's a god.
He chips it off, pulls out a thing of his nail, and then uses it to then use Diana in Billy's dream to talk to him and say that there's trouble. So why couldn't he like use the staff before? Maybe did he lose magic? Is there something I missed? I don't know. But with your Diana point and with Wonder Woman, I think which is really interesting because they could have teased her being in the movie. Specifically, just show a back shot of her and Billy talking in the diner. You could put whatever, like, are you sure you really want me to do this? And then it just cuts off, and you just then think he's a part of the Justice League. That would have been fun. And then when you finally see the movie, it's like, because I thought it was really, really funny when Wonder Woman's face became the Wizard.
Yeah,
I was
it was
like,
hilarious.
that was great. I
Hilarious.
think his name's Merlin. I don't actually know.
It's Shazam, actually.
This is it's Shazam.
Yeah.
Oh, he called him Merlin, so I just thought.
Yeah,
it
but
like,
it
that's
was a
good.
joke because he's a wizard.
Oh, he's the OG Shazam. Okay, that was really good. So OG Shazam Wizard, that's too much, Wizard, like his face just going on Diana, that was great. I love that. It was perfect. That's all you needed to do. You didn't need to bring her back at the end. I guess it makes sense because then we did the full circle with the Joe. But then that brings your point back in is why did you show her in the trailer to begin
We
with?
didn't need it. We didn't need it. And the other part that I think we both agree with is that it seemed like love was something that people really liked in this movie, but also seemed to just fall for so easily in this movie, where we saw that was it Richie? What's his name? Freddie. Richie. See, this is why Scream. You guys go check that out.
I was like, where'd that name come from?
Freddie. Freddie just loved Thea right from the beginning. Boom, boom. I love her. She's great. She's my crutch. I get it. It was cute. At the beginning, it was cute. I loved
Really
it.
cute.
And I love Rachel Ziegler. She's amazing. The only issue that I have, the writing with her was stale. Many people may think, oh,
She was a
oh
plot
Matthew,
driven-
you're being over dramatic.
She was a plot-driven
Believe
character.
me, I'm very over dramatic at
It's
times. You know
literally a
this.
plot
They are gonna
device.
soon know this.
She was a plot-driven character.
And,
It's
but
just
that's the
there
thing.
to-
It was great. It was great. We had a connection, and I think it hurt when she turned. Yes, but I saw it partially coming. Right, the minute they said there's a third sister, we're like, we know who that is.
Who's the other girl in this movie?
That randomly just showed up,
Yeah.
right? But also, it's the fact too that
The switch.
how does he goes and like, you've been an imposter, you know how it is to hurt
Literally
somebody,
between scenes.
and then
Oh,
2
brother.
seconds later, literally 2 seconds later, guys,
Scene or two later.
you're my hero. This thing is cute. It's cute. It's cute. I love it.
Literally.
If she would have pushed that away, if she would have did something that
Show
actually,
more of, like, her cold
yeah, more cold. A
hardness.
villain.
Because
She's a villain.
she's
Is she a
literally
villain? Is she a hero? Is she an anti-hero? What is she?
That's the thing. Is she's literally a god. So like the idea here is that like she's a god who sees it from the human's point of view. The Lucy Liu's character is a god that doesn't care about humans, and then the other sister. I can't remember the actual characters. And another problem with this film is a lot of characters can't remember half their names. Is then she is just like, I just want to remake our play. So that's it. It's like if you're the god who's gonna understand
That has
humans,
empathy,
has empathy. Like at least like show that more. There's literally Freddy disses her in the scene where they're in the like court and thing, and there's like fucking chairs everywhere, and he's talking to them all, and he's just being really rude to her, and it's really funny. I really enjoyed Freddy's character. I thought that scene played out.
Freddy's one of my
perfectly.
favorite characters in Shazam. It's not
After
my
this
favorite.
movie, most definitely. I think that's a really good thing they did during this movie, is actually make you care for the other Shazam kids. But then literally, the wizard and Freddy get put down to the dragon. Okay, real quick. I love the idea that the dragon's fire thing makes you stand there as a plot device so someone could come save you. Because it literally happened twice where the dragon's there doing the thing, and then all the weird shit happened, and then Shazam came in the second time. And I was like, God
Also, the
bless
fight
this
at the
dragon,
end,
takes
as much as
forever to
I
kill.
liked the fight and it was cool, why is he going through the fire and then just ducks under?
He literally just goes head first and then ducks under it the second time. It's like, okay, like I get you're kind of a kid. Maybe if you're gonna do it that way, then make it be like, wait, I can dodge this. I don't have to be.
I think it was a bit, yeah, but
I
that's
like
the
the
thing. I
idea,
feel
like-
like he should have already dodged it in the first. Like, yes, he might have already known,
Like-
but he's already been dodging the fire anyway.
Maybe
It's just
like-
there was some points, guys, that seemed like just lazy, or I have so many good things. You know what? We'll just let it go.
But that's the other thing with this movie, is that there felt like there was just so much. Because even then,
Yeah.
if like the idea was, okay, like Billy's gonna, because again, he's a child being a superhero like Superman. Okay, maybe the first time he'll be reckless and go head first. Oh shit, this continues to hurt. Okay, maybe I should go head first and then dodge it last second. Like, make this a thing that he notes in himself to make himself a better hero. The thing that sucks with this is, again, why I said this should be a third film, is because let's say if we had the first Shazam, one more Shazam with the minor villain, you pay attention to the kids and everyone.
Exactly. Like you needed the kids to then spread out and
Because
get a couple more, and
as
then
we
you start to learn a bit about them. Then leads to this. Yeah.
Exactly, it leads to more, and then leads, because this film felt so much more big. It literally almost kill off Shazam, and then you don't. But that's why. If you would have just had, we mentioned that we really like the characters, the family. We enjoy.
There
their
are good
interaction.
points about this film.
We enjoy their interaction, but like realistically thinking, these characters are just kind of like, they get unicorns during the final battle, and
Which
then
also
you just,
odd, right?
Odd,
Just
but
out
you
of
have to
nowhere.
make the
But
side characters
I know,
do something.
of course, but very out of nowhere, guys.
But that's
where
where you can
you
see
have
the
one
time
little
and
thing, and that foreshadows what happens later. Cool. I like foreshadowing. Bring it back maybe one more time.
Yeah, one or twice.
Because if I didn't hear that line, I'm like, why the hell a unicorn? Where the hell the unicorn?
Great fucking example is literally the opening scene around the time where she mentions it's like Unicorn, Genghis Khan. There's the character Pedro, the Green Shazam, I'm gonna call him for now. He's literally looking at a book, and I swear to God, this is exactly how I thought. It cuts to him looking at the book. It cuts to the book. It's a dude with the shirt off. He's ripped. No disrespect to Pedro, but they casted a
more heavier
more
set.
heavier political correct terms for more heavier. Just got this. And the thing is then I'm like, okay, he's wanting to be. Oh, it's just blinking at me. He's just wanting to be more ripped. Like in his Shazam form, he's more ripped. Like Freddy, when he's in his Shazam form, he doesn't need the crutches. To me, this makes sense. But then literally later, they're like, "Oh, you guys are superheroes," and then he's just randomly like, "Yeah, I'm gay." I did not get that from that. I did like maybe if he would have had like
again,
one more
we
scene
needed
where
one
he
more
like,
scene with these
like
things.
hits on a guy or
yes,
something.
guys, you can foreshadow something, but I need to have some sort of something based on it so that I can then look back and be like, yes, I understand that. That's a good callback.
And not to sound like super annoying, like PC, like super sensitive culture, but this felt like such an old 2000s joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gay. Like, oh, hee 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 hee. Like, it wasn't, like, it's not funny. Like, it got like a slight chuckle out of like how uncomfortable it was because it came out of nowhere.
But that's the thing. I feel like that's why it didn't work. It was basically like, okay, because now it's something to celebrate, right? Back then it was like hush hush, don't tell anybody. But now it's kind of like, okay, well, by all means, yes, representation,
but
right?
I mean,
we are representation.
Out of respect, maybe that was their idea. They
Maybe.
just kind of want to slightly pass it over because it's not that big of a deal in this time. But that's the thing with those people who are dealing with that, it is a bigger of a deal for them to come out. So I think that,
and it just seemed very
it was just
very
like, let's
forced.
push this. Now let's say if we got a Shazam 2 and this was Shazam 3, Fury of Gods being Shazam 3.
And maybe we saw more pictures. Maybe we saw him talking to a guy. You know, anything like that, I would have been beyond okay.
It would have been so much more better. The thing too that I think is really funny is I'm pretty sure I even mentioned this in the trailer reaction is the fact of they're getting their powers taken away. I thought we'd be like, okay, now we need to see why they need these powers because literally Shazam gave them the powers, as he says in this movie, and then just like that was it. They have like they get their powers by the end of it. There's no. From what I guess, I'm going to assume that there's like
it
probably
doesn't seem
a
like the
director's
stakes
cut.
really changed.
Yeah, there's most definitely a director's cut where the kids like saved the world and did like a lot of cool shit. Because again, we see the unicorns and they're literally cut into a park with a big battle going on. I was like,
and then just
alright,
fall
there's
off the
something
unicorns
cut
and it's
there.
done. You know,
100%. But that was it. It was like there's so much more you can do. You could, as watching the film, you could see that there's stuff missing. Like that, like specifically the unicorn thing is like a great example.
And I don't want to keep saying this about
DC,
but I don't want to keep waiting for director's cuts so that I get a full movie.
Exactly. Because that's what no one's going to do that. In literally 2-3 months, this movie, not to be rude, but most content and movie, music, TV shows, after a month or two, it gets swept under the rug and
Shazam has not got amazing reviews, guys. And the reason why, also with box office as well, it hasn't got huge box office stuff. You can talk as much shit as you want with Marvel and everything else, but it's also because now they know in their minds that I can get the better version at home. I can get it when I pick up my DVD. I can get it when it's on streaming services. I don't need to go to the movie theater. I don't need to really spend the money to go see this thing, right? And we're always going to do it. We're always going to be going to these movies and telling you the honest to God truth, guys. And yes, we're telling you guys to go see it. If you feel that after all of this, you should, that's on you.
100%.
But overall, I do suggest going to see this film. It's still a good film. But note there are issues in it, and it's not a full movie. Not a full movie. There are things that seem off.
Which is interesting, because it's like a 2 hour and 15 minute movie. And honestly, like it didn't feel like a 2 hour and 15 minute movie,
no.
which is good. Cause
you're never supposed to. You're never supposed to feel that.
Ant-Man, I felt the
Ant-Man,
water.
we did. Ant-Man, I felt like it was a 4 hour movie, and I fell asleep, guys. So if you guys know,
brother,
you know, and I never fall asleep in movies. I love movies. I adore movies.
I didn't ever get tired during
I couldn't. I couldn't.
But that was it. During this one, it's like the time went by, but then with the time going by, you still like notice these 1-2 little moments. They're like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. There was a moment where I thought about it at the time. I'm like, Shazam should have given powers back here, here, and here, and here, and here. And then I was like, nah, like he's literally doing like a suicide mission right after. But then I'm like, no, there's still like monsters in that, like just casually running on the street. Like he should have
took it from Calypso, Lucy Liu's character. Took it from Calypso and literally had Freddy right there, and then just flew away with the. He had the staff. And you were saying, why doesn't he just give it back to his brother? Like, why doesn't he give his brother back his thing? I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
Like, I get, like
I don't know.
Shazam was done on a suicide mission, but even then, you just tell your brother, like, hey, yo, no, don't, like, do anything, like, save everyone else. Like, here's, like, do everything else. I know, like, he had a goal, but it's, like, still, like, think, like, smart about it.
And I guess
like,
maybe if you want to base off kids, sure. But I still think he is still logical enough to give him the powers and whatnot, because then later on he'd do it anyway.
But that's
right?
Like, if you're going to do a story where your main hero is an adult who is so powerful but he has the mind of a kid, you have to make him think like a kid and act like a kid and actually
the whole
show
point was him
the
coming
idea.
into the Shazam mantra, right? The wisdom of Solomon, right?
Solomon.
But that's the thing, he needs to still have a bit of wisdom, a bit of like being wise, right? He still does have that, right? Partially, and it's starting to grow, right? Even though he's still a kid, but it's still in there, right?
It's starting to slowly grow.
He
He's
needs
just
to
about
have those
become
moments,
18 too.
right?
He's just about to become 18.
He is.
Another thing that I was kind of like uncomfortable with, but like fucking whatever. People watch Riverdale and like 13 Reasons Why, which like has high school students doing whatever. Is the relationship between Freddie and Tina or whatever, Anne, I'm just gonna call her. It's just really funny because she's like. At least they mention it, because she's like 6,000 whatever years old, and he's like just in high school. And I'm happy the parents are at least like, is this right? I don't know. After they kiss, I was
And
just
mature,
like, that's funny.
mature. Why do her sons all like mature ladies? It's funny, but it's also like
it was funny, but it's like you have to, with the time we're in, like you have to be, I guess, a little bit self-aware. But that was like a big thing with Shazam in the comics too, where he was trying to date Wonder Woman, and she was like, "Aren't you a kid?" And she's like, "No," and then it was like Lasso of Truth.
Lasso of Truth. Yeah, I'm 7.
7.
But that's the thing, right? Like it's one of those things. I don't know why 7. But anyway,
17 technically.
17. Yeah, I mean 17.
18 and 5 months.
Yeah, well, he's about to be a man.
He's a man. So
Anyway, but that's the thing, guys. Overall, those are our thoughts on Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Yes, it was good. Yes, it was bad. But I would say it's honestly somewhere in the middle. And with that being said, we already talked a bit about the future of what we're thinking is going to happen. And we're hoping that Black Adam comes in and Shazam, they have the big fight and the whole thing. But we do know that he's going to the Justice Society of America, which we're hoping is going to be there.
It's the end credit with the Justice Society of America. There was 2 end credits. The first one being the 2 characters from Peacemaker show, the blonde girl and the guy with the glasses, I can't remember their name, on the screen. Those 2 walked up to Shazam, asked him to be a part of the Justice. He said yes right away, but they made the Society Justice Society, and he was.
Why can't they have a different name? Maybe the Avengers.
The Avengers. That was funny. That was really good. That's what I was saying. I really like Zachary Levi. I'm really happy they didn't fucking kill him in this movie.
I feel like part of that was improvised. It seemed very improvised.
He just like used Google the Avengers of Society. I just love the direction that they're going, and I just hope that in the next one, maybe like just flush out more of the Shazam kids and the Shazam characters, because like this one just felt really rushed with that, and just like the plot also felt really rushed because of it. Like literally up to like a certain point, you could kind of feel it start to get shaky, and I think that's where they started cutting things. And his character too just like switched between sides way too much.
And I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Well, obviously they're teasing another Shazam with the last end credit where Mr. Mind, a little robotic worm. I don't know if he's a robot. That was a little.
Let us know if you guys know. I mean, we could do research on it, but I honestly don't know.
He looks like a robot.
It seems like it,
but like he's not a robot. Like in the comics, he's not a robot, but in here he's a robot. But in the end, he was talking to Mark Strong's character from the first one. I think he was Envy. The 7 Deadly Sins, which I really enjoyed. I really like the villains for Shazam. They're choosing the Greek gods, the 7 Deadly Sins. Love it. And again, the effects are just so crazy. I'm just remembering the effects from this movie. They're just bonkers, even from the first one. It's just crazy. But that's it. They're building something there, and I'm really excited to see that. Hopefully in Shazam 3, but that's what I mean. Hopefully they're gonna give us more and kind of rinse out the towel before putting it back. Like just drain the towel, let all the water drip out, let all the things.
I also want to see him with Superman, with Batman, with the people that are coming up, because Zachary Levi is gonna have some fun with that. And I've always loved Zachary Levi ever since I saw him in She Loves Me, the musical. Very funny. You guys should definitely check it out if you guys haven't. That's just the thing. But overall, you know, a good movie. Now let's get into our ratings, and we'll finish up the thing here, guys. But overall, I'm going to say good acting, good CG. The only thing is the plot seemed off, and the writing seemed off at times. And the actors can only do so much when those things are kind of up in the air and not so great. And of course, it being part of the DCU, I think we need to also add that into the category that I think I would have had a better experience overall if I didn't know certain things.
Did Calypso die at the end of the movie?
I
I don't remember where she went.
As far as we know, Calypso is no longer because yes, they all kind of turned up blue, whatever.
Okay.
So yes, but that's the thing. Overall, I think I can't rate it higher than Scream. Scream was definitely very, very good, and I put that as a 4. And then for Quantumania, I put that freaking low. So I think I'm gonna go with a 3.5 on this one. I believe I put Quantumania as a 3, and believe me, guys, I wish I could actually put it lower. Sorry, after reflecting more on the thing, I think I would put it lower. But I think I'm going to give it a 3.5, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Again, good, but it had some things missing for me, and I don't think I would have had a better experience if these things weren't, you know, if these things were more fleshed out, I think I would have had a better experience. But they weren't, and just know that it's a good movie, not a great movie. It's not rewatchable too, which that also plays a factor, because if it was rewatchable, it'd be a bit higher, guys. But it wasn't. It wasn't.
Because when I think about the DC movies, I really I compare this to the other ones. I remember so yeah, that's it. With Suicide Squad, it's something I want to rewatch. This film is something I might come back to in the future. With my review on it, I really like the acting. I didn't really have any problems with the acting. There's a few writing decisions I would have done differently, probably more so, because I feel like the other Shazam, I knew it in the beginning of Shazam, the ending of Shazam 1. It was they ended and he just gave his powers to his family, and I was like, that's too early, and then they just didn't get into that. The losing of the powers, and just not it's literally right there in front of you. There's clearly kids here who are given powers that you could do so much with, and just you could do so much with that, and they just don't touch that. Freddy, the whole crutch thing, the Pedro being slightly heavier, even being gay, being looked at as an outcast, and
the youngest child. It was cute to see her doing all the things that was very kid-esque, right? She played very kid-esque. It was great, but there was also times that it could have played.
They could have done so much more. The Mary, the other Shazam, the Shazam girl in red, basically, Shazam girl in all red. She literally was her idea is not to be a superhero. She has future goals in that. They all have this thing, but it's just they never touched on that, and that really.
I feel like we should have had more scenes with all of them, and I think it could have potentially grown it more. And another thing, guys, why does Mary not have? I don't get me wrong. I love that we have the palette of superheroes and them have different color palettes, but there's one that doesn't, and for some reason it's Mary. She should have pink, guys.
That's
pink and purple. We have all these things.
Yeah, that's a thing in the comics. Please let us know. It's really
switch that, guys. They should have their own.
I'm gonna assume it's
whole thing, you know.
They're Shazam boy, Shazam girl. I don't know, or just make them all in red. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, to your exact statement, I think the thing that really fucks me up, and I honestly don't think I'd be so I'd probably rate it higher, but now I'm really thinking of it. He even makes a Fast and Furious reference about how much it's about family. This movie is clearly supposed to be about family and that growth. But you don't really feel it. Yes, the movie's about family because it's literally.
And I guess you see it more at the end.
They use the word a lot. It's sisters versus a little family, but you don't. You get glimpses, but you don't get the full picture. It's kind of blurry glasses during the movie. With that being said, rating it out of 5. I'm gonna have to like, I'm gonna give it a 3 respectfully, because it's like I feel like there's just so much more they could have done, honestly. But it was a really, really good, enjoyable film. So it's kind of like an unfortunate 3, because I feel like it would have been so much. Because again, 2 hours and 15 minutes went by like that.
And
Like,
just so you guys know, just in comparison, Ant-Man was lower for Dev as well with that. But that's the thing. Yeah, no, I agree. You know.
I just wish they did so much more. Like, you have so much more to do. It's just.
And the characters, we like the characters. We just want more. And I think that's also makes it good. It makes it a good thing. I want to see more. Give me more. Right?
Literally though, because we wanted more. I just feel like there's certain scenes when you like. I feel like I can think of it now. Like there's the scene where they're playing Call of Duty or something in the hostage situation. That was cute. But the thing is, like, do we need that, or a scene where like they're actually showing something later that those kid heroes are doing? I don't know. I think it would have been better to like really like you have a really good cast in those kid heroes.
I think if we had more time and we had more things to like about these characters, we would have invested more time into it, and I think that would have overall made everything enjoyable. Again, and the writing overall just needed to have that style that we know we can get.
Holy shit! You know what actually fucking hurts? Literally now thinking of this, they all have lightning powers. If his idea was to use this wand, because it's a battery, just explode it and make everything blow up, why didn't they just like jam the wand into the tree and like all shoot it with their lightning powers when they all, like there's 6 of them, they could have all, it would have been a big boom. Like you wouldn't have had to do this whole like self-sacrifice thing. Like you had the wand, give back all your powers, you don't even have to self-sacrifice yourself. Like, I don't know, it's just really funny how the movie was like Shazam, Fury of Gods and family thing, but then it just became about like Shazam and Billy in the end. Which again, like maybe if it was like a kid's thing, like I don't know, like there should have been some inner monologue dialogue.
There should have been more.
Going on. Also, not to sound bitchy, but they did the thing where they mentioned it once and then did the full circle at the end, but the full circle at the end just kind of sucked. They mentioned, like, he calls his mom Rosa, and then at the end she's like, Mom. I see you as Billy, and it's like that whole like waste, like not to be rude, but it just felt like wasteful. Yeah. Like either hit it, stick to it, pay attention to it, or don't even mention it at all, because like the Pedro thing, it just feels disrespectful. It feels like a waste of time, and I don't know, it's just
Overall, not that it was a waste of time, but it was something that I don't think
in the movie
exactly.
to be a part of. When you
I
could have
don't
been standing.
think overall we wasted time today, but I do think it
made me excited for the future.
Exactly. I think overall, if you guys are going in for a casual watch, by all means, go see Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And try not to put too much judgment in it. That's what we do. We do it because of this. And we generally just love movies, and we want to make sure that they're done right and properly.
We grew up
and we like
movies where we make movies. We just, when we watch them, it like translates and goes through us a little bit differently. But that's the thing. It's like, if that's just like us, like, and then a regular moviegoer is just like, hey, there's some 1 or 2 problems. It's like that's the thing though. This comparing to Ant-Man, there was like a clear like, holy fuck, this pacing is really weird and really off. This one, it was just more like, okay, we could expand it on that a bit more.
Yeah.
But they just did it so many times that you've seen it, so it was like
that
was it. But I think after this though, hopefully the future of the DC cinematic universe is
with James Gunn at the helm,
up.
And I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see what's next. But overall, guys, hope that you guys can see what's next. We are very much looking forward to seeing what you guys are thinking about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay notified on all future videos by clicking that bell right down there. You see that bell? Anyway, click that, and also go downstairs. We're in the description down there, and you guys can see all of our amazing social medias, and I encourage you guys to go check those out. There's going to be a lot more coming on there too. And go check out MADViews Productions. We do all sorts of films and stuff like that, so definitely go check that out. And go check out all our reactions from Shazam, from Flash, from Fast and Furious, Scream, Creed, and much, much more coming, guys. We actually might have another one coming very, very soon.
And we might go be seeing some more movies shortly. We see that Creed 3 and John Wick 4 are
they're out. Do you guys want to see that? Well, wait and see. Wait and see if we recover.
Subscribe. Again, comment. Tell us your opinion about what you guys thought of this movie. And don't forget to see our vision.